Inner world, outer world management. Keyword management. What we're going to explore today is learning how to manage our emotions, our thoughts, our feelings, our perceptions, our awareness, all of those things. Now, the ego, to my knowledge, it cannot be eliminated or eradicated permanently, but it can be managed. That's what we want to learn to do. We want to develop our minds, train our minds where we can manage, become better and efficient managers of our emotions, of our thoughts, of our awareness, and of our ego. The law of vibration. Everything is energy. Every thought is energy. Now, contemplate on that for a moment. Everything is energy. Energy is power. Power, power, unlimited power. Guard your energy. Your energy moves up or down depending on your mood, your energy, and fitness levels. Your mood and energy and fitness levels determines the flow, the ebb and flow of your energy. Throughout your day, your energy will ebb and flow. It's never just totally constant. We would like for it to be, yes, but it's going to ebb and flow, and that's okay. And that's a part of the management process. Being able to recognize and be aware of your energy, your emotional vibrational frequency level. What are your thoughts? What are you feeling right now? You are what you think you are. You become what you think about. Meredith, give us some ideas. What happens when we become what we think about?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think a good example would be money. So, uh say you're living in like a lack of abundance, you're always worried about your credit card debt or the lack of money you have. You almost become so fixated on that current state, and that, I guess, in a way, I don't want to say poverty because it doesn't have to be like poverty is a spectrum, but you become so fixated and kind of present in that state of wherever you are financially, that is reflected in your reality. So you're not, your energy is low and you're very pessimistic, and you're kind of operating from this this energy level that you don't attract money, you need money, you're not getting money, that it just becomes like a cycle of you're not experiencing that financial growth. Because if you were operating on, well, I don't know where the money's going to come from, but like I'm open to receive financial opportunities, then that openness and that higher frequency energy will allow you to welcome entrepreneurial ideas or situations where, instead of being so obsessed with the lack of money, that your kind of abundant mindset is, I want more money, I'm open to financial opportunities, and you won't be so routine in your day to day of not having money, that you almost become a magnet of money. And you might meet someone who like has a weekend opportunity for you to make money, or you're really you're really encouraged to make more money, so then you sign up for this budgeting program, and there's new opportunities to like manifest that more positive financial situation that you're in. And so I use that example because I think in capitalist America, as consumers, like everybody wants money. Like it's a good feeling when you can have the resources to do a lot of things that you want to do. And I think being a younger professional and having my first set of real bills, like I think about money too. But I think that's a good example just because it shows that um, what you think you reflect. And so it's not to say you're living in a fantasy where you don't acknowledge, oh, I have a lot of bills and this is like the salary I'm bringing in every 2 weeks. So maybe um, I need to think about things and strategically get where I want to be. Like you definitely need a level of realism and knowing like you're not just avoiding um, your financial situation. But I think it's just a lot easier to get from another stage when you're a little more abundant and your thinking and the frequency you're operating off, versus just sitting in this funk that like you don't have any money and nothing goes your way. It's just kind of like, well, that's all you're going to see because you've just decided that you're poor and you don't have any resources. Like you've just created this definitive state for yourself. So that was more a long-winded example, but I think that's the first one that comes to mind.
Very good. Excellent points, because I was just thinking as you were discussing that, because it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Mm-hmm.
When you think you are without and you're lacking, as you say, finances, and you think you may be poor compared to someone else, well, that's what you're going to remain in that state. You're not going to go beyond that, because that is what you think about. That's the perception you have of yourself, and that's the reality in which you're going to live. You're projecting that into your world. Your outside world has lack, not abundance, lack. And you're creating that because you have thought it to be. So you have attracted what? Lack into your world instead of abundance. I totally agree. Great point. The emotional frequency chart. Now, we talked about this some time ago, but this is so important, and it is such a platform to always review and think about, because this is where we live. We are emotional creatures, and we have thoughts, we have emotions, but we sometimes fail to understand what those emotions mean. When we are thinking the emotional destructive energy thoughts, such as humiliation, blame, despair, regret, and anxiety, we're thinking and creating and projecting that from the inside to the outside. So, it's almost like a mirror. If I look in the mirror, my neighbor's image is not going to show up in front of me. What's going to show up is a direct reflection of my own image, myself. So when you are thinking along the emotional state of anxiety, regret, or anything on the negative band, that's what's going to appear in your life, because you're creating that. And what we need to do is learn how to retrain our minds to think differently, to increase and improve our energy level, and our emotions will change. For instance, if you look up the chart, starting at the 500 hertz level, and we always say that 528 hertz is what? That's our benchmark. That's where we want to remain at all times, because as you can see, this is where the strong creative energy starts on the higher bands of the chart, which means a different type of emotional state. On the 500 level, we have what? We have reverence, and we have serenity, we have bliss, we have peace, joy, and love. That's what we want to project from the inside. When we have those thoughts inside of us, we can project those thoughts to the outside. That's our inner world of love, joy, and peace and enlightenment. That is creating our outer world of the same image and focus and energy. That's what we become. We have the ability to create our own world. Yes, our inner world, it determines our outer world. So very important. It is crucial that we learn to manage our ego. All of those emotions on the emotional frequency chart, they are all about management. Yes, because any of us can, we can be filled with fear, anxiety, frustration, depression, anger. If we allow ourselves to be overtaken by those emotional thoughts. But we want to learn to manage the ego, manage our emotions, manage our awareness, our perceptions of life. Now, the ego is very, very deceptive. As I said before, to my knowledge, it cannot be eliminated or eradicated completely, but it can be managed and controlled. It must be, or it will take over you and manage you. Now, I heard a long time ago, and it was very interesting, as a very, very young person, I was watching a TV show, and it was talking about icebergs in the water. And it made a very profound statement. It said, as you look out on the surface of the water, the part of the iceberg that you see above the surface, that is the smallest part of the iceberg. The greater portion and size of the iceberg is below the surface of the waterline. Look at the diagram and picture here on the screen. You see what's there. You got the ego, the id, the superego, all parts of the ego and the psyche of a human. That we must learn to manage. Now let's examine what these different terms are. Ego. All negative energy comes from the contradiction of the ego. The I or self of any person, a person as thinking, feeling, and willing, and distinguishing itself from the selves of others from objects of his thought. Psychoanalysis is a part of the psychic apparatus that experiences and reacts to the outside world, thus mediates between the primitive drives of the id and the demands of the social and physical environment. The part of the psyche, the id, residing in the unconscious, that is the source of instinctive impulses that seek satisfaction in accordance with the pleasure and principle, are modified by the ego and the superego before they are given overt expression. And someone may be thinking, so why do I need to know that? Because you need to understand the forces that you're dealing with. The more intel you have on your adversary, the more, probability that you can be victorious. In learning to manage the ego, we need to know everything about it. All of the, the specifics, all of the minute details. The superego, the part of the personality, the conscious, formed in early life by internalization of the standards of parents and other models of behavior. Very key thing that was mentioned there. Parents and other models of behavior. Self-sabotage and inner rebellion caused by the ego, mind, and subconscious at the notion that they are losing their control over you and what you think. Another great reason why we must learn to manage the ego. On the screen is a chart. Now this is very, very, very enlightening. You have two columns. One column stresses, the higher self, the real you, and the other column stresses the ego. Now, when you look at it, the higher self, the real you, Meredith, think about which one would you select from this column that would be easier to focus your attention on? Which one would be easier for you to give attention to in this column of higher self and the real you?
I think it's between is always grateful or I live in abundance.
Okay, can you tell us why you feel that one would be easier for you to give attention to?
I think it's two reasons. It's something I already kind of am practicing to implement in my life. And I also think that those two are most like reflective of like the energy I can give off. And so, for example, like you're going to have highs and lows in life and go through various seasons, but a lot of the thoughts you think or the attitude you take on play a big role in like how long you stay in those seasons or what you gain from those seasons of, like, I don't want to say adversity, but sometimes you're in unideal funks in your life and they can take a toll on you realistically. And so living in abundance or I'm always grateful is kind of that higher frequency, that 520 and above we want to stay at, and that the sense of I didn't necessarily get my promotion that I wanted at year end. And so maybe my salary is not exactly where I wanted it, but going back to what the ego could do is like you're operating off that emotion and you're furious and you could not see how maybe it's not your time for something, or maybe, if you stay in this place where you feel like you no longer need to be in, that like self-growth and like future opportunities that can lead to. And so when you feel like you don't have what you are owed right now, then operating off of, well, I'm grateful, this is a recession right now. A lot of people are losing their jobs. Like, I'm grateful that you know, I don't have a salary I want right now, but I'm grateful I'm employed. Or I live in abundance. Like maybe there's a reason I didn't get that position because I'm always attracting new opportunities. And so it's definitely a lot of work to get to that level of frequency where a lot of things, my dad always says, like, don't let things knock you off your square. And so I think it takes a lot of practice. And like you said, you have to you have to kind of like mentally train yourself to start thinking on that level. And it is, in a way, you have to kind of fake it till you make it and have those internal affirmations. You're reminding yourself, like, I'm not going to go to the right side and operate off ego. But I think just where I'm at right now, those are two that I know I really need. And I feel like I can make it happen. Like I'd rather be very happy and grateful than kind of like, wow, like I'm this person, I'm that person, like how dare they like overlook me for this? Because it's really hard to, once you get in that attitude or you kind of affirm like I don't like this job or I don't like this person, it's really hard to redeem that attitude. You're kind of stuck there. Like once you decide you don't like something, it's really hard to change your mind about it.
Okay, great points. Now I'm going to take the other side of the chart, which is the big bad ego side. And I'm going to pose a question like this. Which one of the items on the ego side would I say would be the most challenging not to place your attention on? Actually, the whole list would fit that description. But I'm going to single out one because I think it is the easiest for everyone to relate to. And that is craves attention, adoration, and achievement. Everybody likes a little bit of attention. Everybody likes to be admired. Everybody likes to achieve and to be told that you are great. Mm-hmm. Yes. But how far does that go? And to what degree? Do you allow that to, develop in your mind? Because once it starts going and going and growing and expanding, it gets into what? Pride. Mm-hmm. And you become very, very selfish. And you become a person who's only thinking about me, self, me, my. And you're no longer a team player. You only want to satisfy what? Your own ego. You become heartless. You don't care about what happens to the rest of the people on the team or the rest of the people in the neighborhood or the family or in the group. It's all about me. You guys just have to fit in where you can get in because this is about my time, my effort, my success, my turn in the spotlight. So I would say craving attention, adoration, and achievement would be the one that would be the most challenging for most people to not to accept or to have their attention placed on. The law of awareness, becoming more and more aware. When we're meditating, when you start out meditating, as I did some time ago, it was a very new concept to me. I didn't have much information about it at all. Now I knew quite a bit about prayer, but the thought of meditating, that's something new. And when I started to meditate, I was advised by a very wise person to meditate in short increments of time, short spans of time, because it was explained to me that your greatest challenge would be attention, focusing your attention, because your mind will start to just run wild. You'll be thinking about everything, the things you have to do, what you got to do at work, what projects that you catch up on, you got to stop at the grocery store, you got to pay this bill, you got to do all these things are on your mind. All the things you have to do. And that's what you're going to think about. Is that meditating? So what I started to do was to learn to focus. And I found out one very key step that I was missing from the start was in my meditation process, I was never totally relaxed. The more I learned to get control of my body and to focus my attention on relaxing my body, the more I was able to get into the flow of the meditation process. So total relaxation was the first step for me, learning how to be totally relaxed. And after that, my periods and duration of time began to increase as I was able to focus and meditate a little longer. I started out with 24 minutes of meditation time. I want to be able to meditate for a duration of time of 24 minutes. And once I accomplished this, I started to relax more and more and more. Then I was able to focus my attention on one thing at a time. I became very focused and I was able to channel all of my thoughts on one central thing. And that led me to be able to, as of now, meditate for 1 full hour. Sometimes I go for an hour and 15 to 20 minutes. That's only because the meditation is so great. Once you get control of this process and learn how to train your mind to focus your attention and get totally relaxed, sometimes you lose track of time. That's what I do. I lose track of time. I say, whoa, I'm 15 minutes over. I'm 20 minutes over. Okay, great. It was a great experience. So mind training, training your mind, learning to focus your attention on one thing at a time. And it starts with, very simply, learning how to focus your attention on each area of your body. I started with it simply doing this. I would say to myself, my scalp is relaxed. My forehead is relaxed. My eyelids are relaxed. My cheekbone area is relaxed. My lips are relaxed. My neck is relaxed. And I will go all the way down to the tip of my toes. My back, my shoulders, my abdomen, my lower back, my upper back, my arms, my legs, my knees, my lower legs, my heels, my feet, and my toes. Once I was able to get my attention focused on each area and zone of my body becoming relaxed, I was able to proceed in a controlled, focused manner with my attention. Meditation, your superpower. Meditation, one's commitment to focus one's attention. I would suggest to anyone, show me the results of your meditation, and I will show you the ability and your commitment to focus your attention. Yes, meditation is your superpower, but once you learn how to focus your attention, the more successful you're going to be, and the more you're going to be rewarded from your meditation session. Learning to train your mind to focus your attention. Now, here's a tip that you can use, a little exercise to learn, to just something to do to start training your mind to focus your attention. Imagine this. Before going to bed tonight, you sit on the side of your bed. This will only take about 1 or 2 minutes. Sit on the side of your bed and trace each one of your steps back to the beginning of the day when you first got out of bed. It's not easy, but once you can train your mind to focus on each step, each thing that you did, from the point that you were sitting on the side of your bed back to the morning time when you were getting out of bed, you're going to find it to be very interesting. Here's another exercise you can do to train your mind to become more focused with your attention and your awareness. Imagine going to the mall or the grocery store or to any place where there's lots of people. And for an example, you say to yourself, once you go to the mall and make your visit and you get back home, and just sit down very quietly and ask yourself, how many individuals did I see with wearing a suit and tie? And where were they located? Allow your mind to go back and review every person that you saw in the mall on your visit that was wearing a shirt and tie. Where were they located in the mall? When you go to the grocery store, when you return home, you sit down and let your mind review that experience, that shopping trip at the grocery store, and discover how many people did you see wearing the color blue and where were they located in the grocery store. You're going to determine how aware you are. What is your awareness level like? Are you aware? Can you develop a greater sense of awareness, a heightened sense of awareness by becoming more focused, allowing your attention, your awareness to become more focused? Meredith, do you have any thoughts on that?
No, I think you've given me some homework. I'm thinking about sitting on the
Very
edge of
good.
the bed tonight and going through those steps. I think focus and just being in the stillness and not letting your mind wander is the hardest thing I'm overcoming in like my meditation practice. So I'm just soaking in everything you're saying. I don't have anything to add.
Great. Glad to be of help.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's some of the benefits of meditating. It removes blockages and resistance. It provides insight, inventions, concepts, solutions, and knowledge. It provides ideas, problem solving, stress relief, relaxation, peace, and calmness. And you're able to connect with the source and creator of all seeing, all knowing power. Your divine higher self, the real you, and I are God. We're one. How could we not be? You are created in my image and likeness. Wow. Yes. Meditation, that is our superpower. Here's an example of someone who's meditating. Now look at that very closely because she's very relaxed. You can see she's very focused. And she's probably doing guided meditation. Guided meditation is when you're listening to a program or an audio program that guides you through the meditation session. You can see she has on her headphones, and the headphones are hooked to a cell phone, so I'm sure that's guided meditation. But look at her posture there, how relaxed she is. Now, when I'm doing my meditation, I sit in a chair. Matter of fact, the same chair I'm sitting in right now. Yes, that's the most effective posture for me, sitting in a chair, very relaxed. The room is totally quiet and still. And I usually start at 5 o'clock in the morning, 5 a.m. There are many different ways of meditating. Now, this is very interesting. Take a very good look at this picture. Another thing that helped me along the path of learning how to meditate personally, when I first started, there's a park near my home where I go and walk. I spend a lot of time out in the forest, walking and thinking. Being out in nature is so therapeutic and it's so very good for you emotionally and, making you aware and more conscious about the world around you. There's a special area in the park that I would go and look at because the trees were so beautiful. And to help my body and to help me settle down and relax, I would revisit with that image in my mind that I saw and I experienced in the forest. Now, this picture right here, look at all of the details in this picture. Look at the lake, all of the trees around the edge of the lake, the mountains in the far off distance, the blue sky. Once you capture, your eyes are like the lens of a camera, but your brain is the database. It's the hardware of the camera. As you are capturing this image in your mind, you can replay it at will at any time, anywhere. When you're meditating, when you need to really focus your attention and relax, allow your mind to pull up and revisit this image that we're looking at right now. Keep this image in your mind. It is a beautiful, beautiful scene of nature. It is just wonderful. It is so peaceful and calm there in the forest, a lake in the forest surrounded by all of the greenery, the trees, the shrubbery, the beautiful mountains, the beautiful blue sky. Keep this picture in your mind. Revisit this picture over and over and over again to help you focus. Or I say anytime that you're stressed, If your day is not going like you want it to, temporarily, I hope, just refocus yourself, recalibrate yourself with this beautiful image of nature. It will be a great help to you. Meditate. Here is a person who's meditating in their private office. They may work from home or in their own business. They may be gathering solutions or ideas for a new project, problem solving, analyzing the work that needs to be done and completed on this day. They are meditating. They are connecting to a higher source of knowledge and information. They're gaining wisdom by meditating. New mindset brings about new results. We're learning to train our mind. Learning that, we create our outer world from our inner world. Our inner world creates our outer world. We're learning to have a different perception of life and ideas and new thought processes. We're gathering and gaining and growing and developing a new mindset that's going to produce new and different results. As above and so below. This is the first law of the universe. As it is on earth, so it is in heaven. First things first. This is law of the universe. As it is above, so below. Which really means, in layman terms, there are certain principles that are already instituted. If we learn them and follow them and tap into them, it's amazing what we can achieve in this journey we call life. If we just listen and be open to new information. The law of consciousness. Consciousness permeates all things and all humans, plants, animals, stones, animate and inanimate objects. Consciousness is a state of awareness. We've talked about being aware, becoming more aware, being focused. Where the mind goes, the attention goes. Where the attention goes, the mind goes. There is only one consciousness. There's only one pure consciousness, and that is God. So we're all interconnected by way of consciousness. Everything is connected. That's why we can clearly say and believe that everything is energy. It really is. Because everything is connected on a conscious level.